Welcome back. You're watching AM Agenda. The government is calling for sweeping changes to the NDIS following the release of a scathing report that details rampant abuse inside group homes. The report found over 7,000 incidents of abuse within the last 4 years. It's a staggering number given these group homes accommodate less than 20,000 people, many with intellectual and physical disabilities. Join me live now is the Shadow NDIS Minister Michael Sukkar. Michael, thanks so much for your time. Before we talk about this issue, I think it's fitting to convey our sorrow for the passing of your colleague Jim Molan.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. And I mean, it is real sorrow. Many of us knew that Jim was battling some pretty difficult health issues over recent years, and he did so in a way that still discharged all of his obligations as a senator and as a man devoted to his family. But all I can say is it's a hard day for the Liberal family today because Jim really embodied service before self, whether that was service in his time in the military, and we all saw the remarkable heights at which his career went in the military, to then coming and supporting the early days of the Abbott government with Operation Sovereign Borders, an enduring legacy for this country, securing our borders, and then, of course, becoming a senator. And as a friend, Laura, I can say that he's someone who always had a really considered perspective. He saw the best in people, and even where he disagreed with people, he could do so in a way that maintained a friendship or a level of courteousness, and in that sense was a great example to all elected representatives.
Yeah, really well said, Michael. He loomed large in everything he did. He was certainly an example of someone who gave his life to public service in many facets indeed. So let me ask you about the NDIS now. Bill Shorten says there's problems with it. This report does show in group homes that would prove to be correct. What do you think needs to be done here?
Well, look, there's no doubt that there are significant issues, and credit to the agency for undertaking this review. I think a very troubling aspect of the report and the statistics were that they're getting worse. And in fact, in the 3 months to December was the highest number of reportable incidents, which means, sadly, under the watch of the new government, this is getting worse, not better. And, we agree with some of the basic observations of the report in relation to regulatory changes. There's going to be a consultation process now, I understand, of exactly what changes are required. But people, particularly those that are vulnerable, need to feel safe and secure in their home, whether that's in group accommodation, independent living, regardless of their circumstances. I think troublingly, the report pointed to a number of deficiencies with workforce, and that exacerbating some of the problems with these reportable incidents. But I would just say to the government, time is of the essence. They can't be asleep at the wheel. These incidents are getting worse, and in fact have got worse at an alarming rate since their election. So I would just call on them with goodwill to get moving. Commissioning reports and undertaking reviews has been the hallmark of the government thus far with the NDIS. Now is the time for action, particularly given this report has provided such a stark series of problems.
So where's the evidence that it's got worse since they're elected? Because this report looks at 4 years. The Labor government hasn't even been in power for a year yet.
So the reportable incidents for the 3 months up to December have been the highest. That's the evidence. That September quarter of last year has seen an alarming spike in reportable incidents. Now, I haven't gone through line by line and examined every one of those many hundreds of incidents, but there's no doubt there's been a spike. Now, all I'm saying is, given that the problem is getting worse under Labor's watch, they need to move really quickly. And I have no doubt...
What do you think that spike is down to, though, Michael Sukkar? Because, as you say, they've just put in reviews, they haven't changed the architecture of this scheme just yet. So where's that spike come from, do you think?
Well, the report doesn't break that down, and the report doesn't segment it in that sense to attribute a spike to any given issue. I would just say, given the self-evident point, Laura, that it is getting worse, it's got worse under their watch, that they really need to move extraordinarily quickly. And I can appreciate a new government coming in and undertaking review after review, trying to get their feet under the desk, but it's now been 7 months, Laura. The government needs to get moving. The problem's getting worse, not better. And people who are living in group accommodation, I think, deserve to feel safe in their homes, deserve the best level of care in their homes. There's a range of other issues in the report that don't just relate to all the troubling reportable incidents, but some of the issues with people with different circumstances, or when their circumstances change, the regulatory environment not enabling to access the services that they need in a timely fashion, when they have those changes. Again, as I said, the workforce issues. So I don't profess that any of these issues are simple, but given that the problems are getting worse, I really do expect and hope that the government will move very quickly, rather than what I think has been their instinct to date, which has been to just commission report after report without necessarily acting and making changes.
Okay, Michael Sukkar, thanks so much for your time.
Good on you, Laura. Thanks so much.